And here we are today, back at the Remax Curling Center for the Newfoundland 2024 edition of the Men's Curling Tankard. Today's feature game will be Team Skanes versus Team Smith. Both teams have a 1-1 record on sheet 3. On sheet 4, we're going to have Team Hancock, McNeil, Lambswood. On sheet 5, it's Team Simmons taking on Team Walters. And on sheet 6, we have Team Tipple versus Team Young. And now back to our feature game with Team Smith and Team Skanes. Both teams coming off pretty horrendous losses last night, as both teams had 4-point leads at the break and pretty much crashed and burned in the second half. So both teams are looking to come out hard today. And with me in the booth today is Glen Goss, 3-time men's tankard champion. Glen, what do you think we're going to see today?
It's interesting. It's early in the week. Oh, thank you, Mark. But it's early in the week, and but this is one of the marquee games, I think, for both teams, especially now that, as you mentioned, they had losses last night, so they're coming in with a 1-1 record. I know that's early in the week, but this is a game that could really set the tone for one of these teams. You don't want to have to rely on somebody else beating your opponent later on in the week. So this is a crucial game. These are two of the 4, 5, 6 favorites, I think, coming in. So this should be an interesting matchup. I think we've seen Greg Smith play the game. Greg is it's a thrilling game. He loves to play a lot of rocks and play. Trent, I think you may see them being a little bit more defensive. But having said that, they throw up the center guard the very first end, and here we go. So it could be a really entertaining game, and I expect it's going to go 8 or 9, or 10 or 11. I mean, sorry, I keep playing 8 games.
I tend to agree with you, Glenn. Trent threw the guard up, and Smith came right around to the top of 4, and then Mike Mosher came around to the 8-foot right behind the guard again. So right away we're at it. Now Smith, this is an interesting call here. He's going to the wing, so he's going to leave Skanes at run back. Now, the lead on Greg Smith's team is Zach Shirtleff. He's an import player from Ontario. I really don't have much information on him, but he appears to be a pretty solid player, and the boys must have known him from playing on tour, that he's a good player, and that's what he picked up. And on Team Skanes, the skip is Matthew Blanford, who he moved away in 2002 after a run of 3 provincial junior championships, but he's back as a birthright player. And Trent and Matthew played together for a couple of years in juniors and had success at the junior level. So there's a fair bit of familiarity there. But
young Zach Shirtleff, got a little bit of information on him. I know he played in the pre-trials for the Olympics in 2021 with Pat Ferris out of Toronto. They didn't qualify for the trials, but they did play on the national scene. He's also got experience at the college level. He's coached the national college champion, and he's a rugby player, so he's in good shape. He's a wonderful player from what I can gather.
He looks to be fairly solid, Glenn.
Well, Trent answered your question. He's hitting the open one, and so Smith is going to try to get the junior deuce, I think you'd call it.
If he makes the freeze, I don't see anything junior about this coming.
No.
But this is a good call on his part.
Agreed.
Now, I never really agreed with the last call by Team Skanes to hit that, because at some point they got to come back to the middle. Greg Smith has a rock in the top of the 4-foot with 2 guards on it. So unless they do something to move that rock, all the odds are favoring Team Smith.
Yeah, I agree, Mark. I think that yellow guard now is the problem for Trent. He can't get at that raise. I think it's an opportunity to play it now, and which he will do.
That's what he looks like he's going to play.
He got a break with the freeze coming up short. This could change the water on the beans pretty quickly if he makes this on the nose.
Well, if you nod it square right on the nose, he's going to be lying 3 with 2 of them
buried
behind the guard. So it's a big shot here. All 8 players on this sheet are pretty solid curlers. They have a pretty good resume. Lots of national experience. It's better than it was.
It is.
Got it off the 4-foot. It's wide open, or it's just on the edge of the 4-foot, I should say. But
Over a curl of hair.
looks like Smith is playing a little hit and roll here. I'm not sure.
No, he's drawing. He's throwing the out turn draw. He's blue, so he's going
Okay.
he's going around the corner to try to lie two, is what I think. That's what they indicated. And there's different options here. You could go around the center guard on the in turn side. Another option is go around the center guard on the out turn side.
He doesn't have a lot of weight here, by the looks of it. They're working on it pretty hard.
He's all over the guard, I think.
Well, he doesn't want to stagger him. No. Okay. That's not the end of the world there.
I think they snuck it on, did they?
Looks like a biter. Third shot. Skanes, Team Skanes, or Blanford is in the head, so I'm thinking they're going to have to take a crack at the double here.
I think that's what he's doing. That was good sweeping just to get that one on the rings. Close. Got it this time.
Nice shot. Makes the double. Now that shooter is not on, so Team Skanes just lying the one on the edge of the 12.
This is also an interesting call, Mark.
Well,
You better stay.
I don't know if I would want. Well, I guess I don't see a blank coming because there's too many guards. So you get in behind something pretty easily here. There's still a number of rocks to come. But you got no margin for error if you roll out. But now if he's tight and hits the blue one might come off the.
Oh, that's close. That's a good
That's
shot.
a beauty shot. Now I'm not sure that run back on the yellow is there because I think the blue rock impedes the straight back just enough that they can't make it. But you could tap it up.
Yeah, and I think that might be the call. If you do play if the run back is there on the yellow, you got to make it, because if you don't, he's going to loop around that guard again. You're still leaving him buried. So they may be just ignoring this now.
I don't mind playing the raise on the yellow because if you hit half of it, you're going to open up the back blue one, and
Right.
you still might promote that yellow one in the rings.
I agree. I like the raise, tap raise.
I think if you just play the draw around the middle, you have to make it perfect. If you're not, you're giving them a hit and roll behind those two guards again, and now they're lying two buried. No, they're going to play on that yellow one. You could end up with two rocks in the rings here, albeit second and third, but that puts a little bit of pressure back on Team Smith.
Agreed. So he's throwing a bit of weight here. I think he's trying to split that on.
With teams of this caliber, Glenn, I think is all about opportunity and trying to put pressure on the other guy. That'd be pretty close to a nice shot here.
They
by
like
looks
the
of it.
line. Get his shooter on. He did.
Just a hair too hard. But they did open up. They did open up the blue rock.
I believe they're line second and third.
Looks like, yeah, I think that back yellow one is on.
I think so.
We'll see if we can get an overhead shot there now with that.
I think
It
it's
looks like it might be just a biter, so. But Smith is playing the hit on the second shot here with a little roll.
close to a good roll again.
So looks like Smith is going to be lying one and two here.
And this is interesting too, Mark, because playing a hit and roll on the top one, I don't know if you roll for shot. I don't believe you will.
I don't think so.
So it's a conundrum for Team Skanes.
Well, playing the top one, even if he makes this what he's calling, Smith can still lie 2 easily.
Right.
Which tells me is not the shot you should play.
I don't agree. I don't disagree. I think you
Right.
play hit and roll on the back one,
Hit and roll on the back one into the middle.
and then
to
you'll set up a double.
Force them to draw, and then you can draw on top, or you might set up a double.
Right.
That's how you get out of giving up the 2. Now, if this was a little deeper and he had a crack at trying to hit and roll the lie,
The lie shot.
the get shot, it's a different situation.
Yeah.
On and off. He must be close. I don't know. Okay. Now, I think Team Smith here's opportunities to come around that middle,
I think
just to the 8-foot.
they're looking at it now to see if he knows it's the top one. Does he count the back one? Tangley first end. Oh, he's playing the hit and roll.
I mean, if you're playing the hit on that, you don't have much margin of error. You roll a foot to the right-hand side, and you're going to be out of the rings.
I think if you play it, there you go. If you play around the center, even if you get it half buried, they're going to force Blanford to hit the open one to concede 2, I think.
Well, if you make the draw here to the top of the 4-foot, you're bringing 3 into play, potentially.
I think you'll see Blanford hit the open one
And just give him his
to
2.
concede the deuce.
Yeah. Well, I don't think anybody likes to give up 3 in the first end.
No.
2's bad enough.
2 is painful, but 3 is...
2's painful, but it's a long game. And I think you'll agree, a 10-end game versus 8-end game is 2 different animals.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
people think it's only 2 ends, but an 8-end game is a rush to the finish, and you go all out to put points on the board. There's more of a scoreboard watching going on in a 10-end game. It's all about control and having the hammer coming home and trying to organize your ends a bit more. There's actually a start, a middle, and a finish.
And patience comes into play a lot in 10 game. How many times have you seen teams score 3, 4 in the first couple of ends, try to hang on defensively, and end up losing at the end of the game? It's hard to...
Both these teams went through that last night.
Oh, there you go, yeah.
So
I think he's okay.
it looks pretty close.
Well, they seem happy enough with it.
Oh.
He's looking at it, but he could stick it on his own, too.
Well,
So,
I don't like taking on that double. I think you hit the open one and play for the roll. Because you got 5 feet to roll to. You can roll behind the yellow guard or that blue one.
Right. It's a bit of a gamble in the first end, I think, Mark.
This is a high-risk
Play
shot.
this double.
I'm not a fan of this shot whatsoever. I think there's better options.
And it's the first end. I agree with you. But if he makes it, then we're wrong.
Well, I don't know if we're wrong. It just, if you play the wrong call and make it, it works out for you sometimes.
Yeah.
But I don't think this is the preferred shot for a lot of teams. But again, this is one of Blanford's strengths.
It is.
Is hitting. So
and if this was the 9th end mark in a tie game, maybe you take it on.
later in the game, the situation's completely different.
Yeah. That looks close. Over the top.
Too thin.
Well, if you're going to miss it, that's the way to miss it, I guess. You don't want to stick it on your own in the back.
Right.
So this has been a back and forth first end. If this is any indication of what we're going to get for the next 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
Smith needs to make this draw here to put the 2 on the board, and that's a big start. But they're going to have to. Both teams are going to have to keep their focus through 10 ends today, because both teams don't want a repeat of what happened last night.
It's a good start for Greg Smith. He's happy to start with a 2, an opportunity for a 2.
Yeah, the ice was pretty quick yesterday, and it doesn't appear to be much different today. Now, they're working on this pretty hard here.
Right from the start. Sweepers didn't like the speed of it.
They're still pounding it here. I don't know if it's quite there yet.
Still moving.
Well, it's still going. They need to.
You got it.
But he got great sweeping by the
Oh,
front
well
end.
swept.
They put their heads down when he let that go.
I think he owes the boys a beverage after.
I wouldn't know. I'm on dry January.
Ah,
Beverage of choice is coffee and water.
that's a good deuce. Good way to start.
The only good thing about that is I'll be wide awake every day and I'll have lovely skin. That's a good start for Team Smith. 2 on the board. None of the other games have posted any scores yet. So we'll give you an update now in a second. So here we are now starting this.
Well, Zach Shirtliff is going to start the second then. With a rock at the top of the button is what they're looking for.
Okay, Glen just going to do a quick rundown after the first end. On sheet 4, Team Hancock and Team Lambswood. First end was blanked. Sheet 5, Team Simmons and Team Walters. Walters with the Walters with the hammer. First end was blanked. And sheet 6, Team Tipple and Team Young with the hammer. First end was blanked. So the only score we have across the 4 sheets with the 4 games going on is the deuce in the first end in our feature game. Team Smith 2, Team Skanes 0 after 1.
Mission accomplished for Zach. Got it to the top of the 4, draws the play into the rings. Eventually, he's got to come back to the middle. Trent is going to throw a corner guard, try to get his 2 back here.
Yeah, Mike Mosher just throwing this one. I don't see any national exposure for Mike Mosher on the website, but I know he's a fine player.
He's a good teammate, too.
He's a good teammate, but he's an excellent lead. Has great draw weight, strong sweeper, communicates well, and a real team player. But like we said last time, Glenn, this Zach Shirtliff seems to be a pretty solid thrower, too.
He is very, very solid on his feet, and he seems to have good control of his weight. He knows his job. He's good at it.
And as you would understand, and I've been through it before, you don't win at this level without an all-star lead.
Oh, it takes 4.
And you get a lot of teams. The leads are so good; it's hard to gain an advantage at that position because they're all playing 90%.
Yeah, I think with the 5-rock rule, the invention of the 5-rock rule, well, for me, the most important 4 rocks on the team are the first 2 and the last 2.
Yep, pretty much.
And that's really brought the lead into focus, how important it is.
It's just a critical position. Years ago, back when I started curling, the lead was the new guy. The second was a bit better. The third was a bit better. And Skip was the experienced guy.
Yep.
But now with the 5-rock rule, and not only the 5-rock rule, the 5-rock no-tick rule.
That's right.
Is just super critical. And that's a nice, looks like a nice throw there by Mike Mosher.
Great shot.
You see a lot of teams now on the leads and seconds first rock because they can't knock any guards out of the free guard zone. All the weights are down. There's backline, tack, board type weights. You very seldom see a big weight shot unless the rock's in the rings.
Yeah.
And there's no guards in play because they don't want to give away an advantage to the opposition.
As you were saying, Mark, this is another down weight shot from Zach Young.
Again, the teams have gotten so good at throwing these kind of weights. Now,
That's a good shot.
I remember back in the days, back before the free guard zone, you guys, our team, a lot of the teams back then, the better teams used to play down weight for this reason before you even had to.
Right. Agreed.
Because when you go on tour, that's how all the top teams played. Just trying to generate offense.
Well, keep your rocks in play. Yep.
Keep your shooter in play all the time. And at the end of the end, you get little boiters around.
Yep.
Puts a lot of pressure on the other skip.
They're making this shot look pretty easy, aren't they?
I was just thinking the same thing, Glenn. They've come close to that blue guard 3 or 4 rocks in a row. Nobody's touched it yet, and now they got a roll behind that corner. Pretty nice roll by Spencer Wicks. Another one of our Curters here who came up through juniors. Wicks played in 3 juniors, 08, 2011, and 2012. Again, these guys have been playing on tour now for a while, so good chunk of experience. Big throw here by Zach Young. Just got the peel. I think he opened up the back one there a bit, Glenn.
It does appear as though he did. I think it must have been pretty well sunk before he threw, and he did roll 6 or 8 inches, so it's a little bit more exposed.
I think he rolled about a foot. Looks to me like half the yellow might be open.
So Trent is going to try to Christmas tree this draw top 12, half under again, so you can only see half of both yellow rocks. Or less. It's an opportunity to get your 2 back.
I mean, the option here, he could have just went to the other side also.
Yep.
Or he could have come around the middle. But by coming around the middle, if the other team follows you down, then it could negate that rock in the 8-foot.
And you shorten up the rings on yourself. You got you got
gotta
12 feet to play with.
Well, right now he's keeping the scoring area open a bit. That looks like a pretty nice rock. I don't think there's a double, or a double maybe there, but it might be pretty tight. I think he just pushed that enough. I don't think Greg Smith can see enough of the top one to make the double. Looks like he might indicate a hit and roll here, which would open up the back rock, and if he can roll behind the center, it's going to force Trent to come back to the middle.
Yeah, I think if there was a double here, Greg would have had thrown already.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Chris Ford now shooting this.
Another real good player.
Another real good player, absolutely. Nice guy to boot, but again, good quality thrower. Again, a nice downweight shot.
Yeah. Sneaks by the guard.
Again, Chris Ford, another guy. Played in the juniors in 2011. Played in the mix in 2015 and 2017. And played in the Briar in 2019. So another guy with some pedigree behind him. Again, these guys play a lot. They play on tour. They do a number of spiels every year. And they all throw really nice. Same thing with Team Skanes. They all throw really nice rock. And
like you were saying earlier, trying to get that advantage. Mm-hmm. That's what they're trying to get an advantage over their opponent, so they can go back and play maybe a more defensive game. Again, Mark, going back to that downweight stuff.
And that's a nice rock. Pretty thin double. So I think Greg might just play the back one, which is what he's indicated.
It's interesting. Every shot so far has been critical. They've made all of them.
They made all of them. Yeah, I know. That sort of indicates what you're dealing with.
This looks a little bit snug to that guard. You can hear Greg is urging. He's going to sneak it by. Oh, great sweep. Well swept.
I don't know now. They just rolled the wrong way here, so I don't know if he shot rock. But it might give Trent an opportunity to come down and freeze on it, sit on it, which is sort of what I think Matt Blanford has indicated.
Does shrink the rings a little bit, a couple of feet. But as you say, if he makes this freeze, forced into playing that skinny double.
Well, Glenn, I mean, talking about shrinking the rings, so much play is now into the middle. I'm sure there's a number of less experienced players. Skips don't realize by playing in the middle all the time, if you want to score multiple points, you're dealing with a very small area.
Right. Agreed.
right?
It's 12 feet.
And then they wonder why they can't put points on the board.
All right. The rings are 12 feet. Use them.
Yeah, absolutely. I wish I had $1 for every rock I scored a point on that was only 2 inches into the 12
Yeah,
feet.
that's right. This is not close.
I don't think that's what he had envisioned.
No, now it's sunk for sure.
So to miss that rock by that much, I don't know if it grabbed something or if they just never got a correct time on the draw weight. Because these guys, you tell them, what the split time is or what the draw weight is, whether it's 15 or 15.5 or 14.2, and they're pretty close.
They're pretty close, generally.
All the time.
Like, that's a big miss there.
That's miss that by 15 or probably more than 15 feet. 16 feet, 17 feet. And they were sweeping to get that far. So
maybe it did have something while it was in his hand, or who knows. But anyway, regardless, it's an opportunity for Greg to really put the heat on here now.
The opportunity, he can hit that and roll behind those corners, take the corners away, then it might force Skanes to come around the middle one. Because if he rolls here into the top of the 8 foot, behind that yellow guard that Skanes was through, there's going to be very little access on that side.
Yeah, and the outturn side coming around the center is not there now with that yellow rock. I think that yellow guard's in the way.
Intern.
Yeah.
This looks like it's going to be pretty close.
Real nice weight control.
I don't know how much he's going to roll here.
Real nice weight control.
Yeah, we've talked about that several times this end, how they play that down weight.
Very nice.
Well, for the people watching, when you play down weight and you have good sweepers, you can control how much it curls or does not curl a lot more.
Absolutely.
And the rock's going slower, so the sweeping has a longer period of time to affect how much it curls or doesn't curl.
That's true. That's
and
good.
The sweepers are so good now. All these players are in shape. Everybody goes to the gym. They're strong on the broom. They commute, and it's not just the physical act of pushing on the broom hard. It's being able to judge the speed of the rock as a sweeper. But a lot of these front ends, from the time the thrower lets the rock go, they don't really shut up talking to the person in the head. It's constant communication on where the rock may or may not go. And in case they got to change from plan A to plan B, they can do it on a moment's notice.
And they're in such good shape, Mark. They'll sweep for days.
Days and days. Yep, you got that right.
Well, as we said earlier, Mark, you said, I think you talked about Trent being forced maybe to go around the intern side, and that's exactly what he's got. That's the only thing he's got left. I guess the option will go around the yellow guard and try to corner freeze the blue, but I think this is his best chance to score 2 points.
Yeah, all these players, talking about all the players going to the gym now. I joined the gym first part of January, and it hasn't made a change. I haven't changed. I haven't felt any different. So I think tomorrow I might have to drop by.
Yeah. Maybe going in will make a difference.
Maybe if I actually go, it might make a difference. Well, they indicated if they made that roll, which they did, Blanford's going to have to play that intern come around, which is what he did, what he's playing. But it may be a little too long. Now, there hasn't been many rocks on that spot where he just threw, so maybe they haven't got the draw weight completely figured out on that line yet.
Yeah.
But now, if Greg Smith can put this on top of the 4 foot here,
he'd be line 2, maybe 3.
He'd be line 2 for sure.
Yeah.
Well, regardless, shot rock is over on the edge of the 8 foot for Smith. So, regardless of whether he makes his shot or not, Blanford's going to have to draw for 1.
Right.
At a minimum. And he may have to make a good draw if Smith puts this on top of the 4 foot. Sweepers are on and off it a little bit here. Must be pretty close. Seems to have a bit of line there, Glenn.
We're trying to make it curl there now. Like to get at least a half of it under. Good.
He's going to be pretty close, I think, or partly. But now that seemed to be a long way out. And with the draw weight, from the hog line in, it curled about 3.5 feet. So that tells me that you get up over back line weight, you're not going to get that kind of
No,
curl.
that's right.
It'll just run on you. And it was like that last night. It was anything more than back line, you'd get very little curl. But if you had weight that was in the ring somewhere, you could get 4 feet. So I think this is just a draw here. Maybe push it back a foot.
It's a draw tap. Yeah. Now, the one thing in Blanchford's favor is he just threw this shot.
Well, you probably
They
want
have an idea of the line.
just a hair less weight than you just had. Because you can see where Blanchard's rock ended up. It crossed the center line.
It did, right.
So there was loads of curl coming through the rings.
So to make this, I don't think with just tap back weight, that guard is not even in the way.
Well, this has to curl somewhat here. It's coming over pretty good there now.
Just overthrew it.
I think it's a steal at 2, maybe 3.
It might be 3.
That little extra weight again, Glenn.
Yeah,
And
just
it
not
just never got the. Now that weight was probably as much or more
than the
his first
one.
one.
Right.
So I think that's. I doubt if that's the weight he wanted to throw. I think he probably wanted a hair less than when he threw it the first time. And we'll have to wait for that to get posted to see what kind of score it was. But that is a big steal of 2, possibly 3 for Team Smith. And it puts Team Skanes in a big hole here early in this game. I do expect Team Skanes, though, to keep fighting hard here. And I suspect now, even though they are probably a little more of a defensive type of team, I expect them to see a lot of rocks in play this end.
I think you have no choice now.
Yeah, I think you got to. If you're only down 1 or 2, you can be a bit more patient. But down 4 or potentially 5, you can't wait any longer. You got to go, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You live to die another day.
Absolutely, and you can lose by 1 or lose by 10. It's still only one loss, so you got to try to get back in the game.
It's a 9-team round robin, so you got 8 games. This is only game 3, so
So far, Mark, it's been a difference of one team taking advantage of the opportunities and the other team not. They did have a chance there to get one buried, possibly score 2, but just overthrew it.
They posted, Glenn, on the scoreboard. They posted a steal of 3.
Wow, that's big.
That's a huge steal. So that goes back to when the problem started, when Skanes came up light and Ford or Greg's first rack made the hit and roll in behind the cover and forced Blanford to make the wide in-turn draw. And a little deep, Smith came in again, and all of a sudden then because they weren't set up for a steal of 3, and then just like that, you put 3 points on the board. So it can turn around on 1 or 2 shots.
Yeah, I'm sure Greg will take the 3. I don't think he expected to score those 2 points that are over on the edge of the 8-foot. He'll take it, but he did force Blanford into shots he didn't want to throw.
That end, Greg would have started and say a successful end would have been to force Blanford to 1.
Right.
And get the hammer back. If you steal 1, fine. Steal 2, great. Steal 3 is just huge.
We'll buy a lottery ticket.
Yeah, it's just, but that's how it goes. But the last 3 draws that Team Blanford made, they were light and had too heavy. So they're going to have to figure out the draw weight in a hurry here to get back in this game. And they really got to push. They need to put at least 2 points on the board here in 3.
That's tough. If your back end players don't feel draw weight, you're in tough.
And it happens to everybody sometimes. And the front end can give you all the times and stopwatch times they want. But if you don't feel it, it's a long day.
Long, miserable day.
Yeah, and you fight with it. And you hear a lot of players at the high end. What do you fear most? And quicksand.
Yes, that's right.
Because you get into it and you're not feeling it, and the harder you try, the deeper you sink.
Yeah, that's right.
And there's absolutely no worse feeling.
Isn't that the truth? Well, young Shirtlift boy, he's doing his job. Top 4 foot, top 12.
No,
Force the play into the middle in front of the tee line.
he appears to me to be a good pickup for these guys. He seems to
Absolutely.
be a solid player, and
And he fit right in, Mark, as soon as he showed up here. It's wonderful.
well, I'm thinking they must have met him on tour somewhere, and they all got along well, and they said, well, do you want to come down to Newfoundland and play with us this year? And they've played 6 spiels maybe away. I think they've done 6 or 7, and he's been with all of them, all the spiels away, and they played 1 spiel here at Rick Rousel. So the rest of their spiels were on the mainland somewhere. Most of them, I think 1 or 2 were out west. The rest of them were in Ontario, 1 in Quebec.
Qualified in a couple of them. I think they got to a semi, maybe in Quebec. I'm not really sure.
I think they got to 1 final and a couple of semis.
That's
so they
wonderful.
won a little bit of cash
And the experience.
and the experience of playing.
Well, they've got Skanes on the run again, forcing him into the middle, playing shots he doesn't want to play.
Well, what's the call here?
He's playing quiet tap on the one that's half buried, hit and roll to the open side.
Well,
the one that they just threw and they missed.
I don't
they
agree
rolled
with
out.
that call either. I think you just draw to it. They can't afford to hit anything. They're down 5 points.
Yeah, you can't be throwing through the ring weight, I don't think.
You need rocks in play.
Maybe that's what they're doing. Good throw. Beauty.
No. I mean, you're sweeping it out of the ring.
You don't need that out.
I'd rather have it at the back of the 12-foot.
Yeah.
You need down 5. They need all the help they can get.
Doesn't matter what color.
It doesn't. At this point, it doesn't matter. You need sometimes when you're down 5, you can play as well as you want and not get a break. And down 5, they got to play better, and they're going to need a couple of breaks from
Right.
Team Smith to get a couple of points or to get back in this game. Because Team Smith, after that last end of that steal of 3, they're pretty pumped here now.
They are,
They
but
came into this game knowing it was going to be another good team, and after they were pretty ticked last night when they came in after that loss last night to Simmons. They wanted to come out and have a good, strong game today to get, as we say, to right the ship and get back in the win column. And it was the same feeling that Team Skanes would have had coming into the game. But,
both knew the importance of it. I think.
So they got to fight hard here. Now they need to get rocks in play, get a couple of points.
You think he heard you, Mark?
Well,
some rocks buried.
This call indicates to me he probably played that hit last time to get the rock off the 4-foot to open up the scoring area.
Right.
I still wouldn't have played the weight they played at it, but I understand what the general thinking of what he's trying to do here. Now that's a good rock by Spencer Wicks around the corner guard. I don't know if any of us is exposed. There's enough curl where the guard is halfway out to probably come around and tap it back.
I think what he's calling is he's probably throwing bumper or hack, and if he rubs the guard, then that's fine.
Yep. And if you rub the guard thin, he might push his own guard also into the rings.
You may do that too.
So you got a couple options. Or the main thing, you just can't go by everything. You got to get the guard or the rock in the rings. And it looks like they're working on it pretty hard here.
Well, he's got good sweepers. Want to sneak by? Whoa, beauty.
Good sweepers. They worked that a fair bit. That's a nice rock by Zach Young. Well, I think that was Chris Ford shooting. Again, all these 8 players on this sheet are all quality throwers of the rock. They all slide straight. They understand the mechanics, and so.
And I've been impressed, Mark, to this point with their control, with their weight control. Like they want hack, they throw hack. They want board, they throw board. Their normal hit weights are even controlled stuff.
That tells you right away that they have a fair bit of experience to be at that. Because a lot of those shots are made it's a team shot. When you're using down weight, it's a 4-person shot.
Absolutely.
And, when you're coaching juniors, trying to stress the importance of communication.
He rubbed the guard. I think Trent's had a little trouble with his release.
They're not getting rocks right in the areas they need to get them. So they're going to have to try to catch a break here and hope for a jam. There's a jam possibility here.
There is.
But that said, there is still a lot of room for Team Smith to get rid of this rock. Again, not a ton of weight.
No, just nice
Probably
control.
more of a control weight hit.
Very nice. Very nice.
Very nice shot. Again,
They're executing, aren't they?
they're playing pretty well right now. Well, they've got a number of rolls already in 3 ends that were just exactly what they wanted. So they're sliding good, hitting the broom. Greg Smith seems to have the ice figured out here.
And he's got good sweepers.
And they got good sweepers. Now that said, Team Blandford have good sweepers also.
Absolutely.
But I don't know if they've gotten fooled by the ice in terms of where the broom goes, but I think they've got fooled by the speed a couple of times, and that resulted in that 3 in their last end. So
Trent needs to make a good one here now, Mark, and
I don't know what the
Give his
call
team a
was. I don't
sense.
know what the call was here.
I think he's going to the back blue. No, he wasn't. He was
Good.
playing on the top one.
I don't know. I'm not sure what that's going to give him here. It probably it looks like it might be 4th shot. I wouldn't. If it was 4th shot, I wouldn't even play on it.
I don't think he's going to.
No, it looks like he's going to. Yeah,
Might be 3rd.
maybe. But Smith is going to ignore it anyway, which I think is the thing to do.
Yeah, why make the
Because
race
there's
for him?
for that to come in play, there's no double on the other 2 blues here because of the one blue's
Period.
behind that long guard. So he's just going to draw here to lie 3
And how many times, Mark, have you seen teams play on that 3rd shot or 4th shot
and jam it.
and jam it,
Oh.
make the raise for the opponent?
Yeah. One thing I always hated doing was trying to make it for the other guy.
Yeah,
Once you do that enough, you figure it out.
eventually. Or at least one of your sweepers lies down in front of it, won't let you throw it.
Absolutely. No, it looks like he might be playing the hitter now. Looks like they've switched.
Well, he has changed. Yeah.
Working on it a bit on and off. He must be pretty close to what they want.
Playing the hit and roll, I think.
Again, they haven't missed much this end at all.
No, they played very well.
And,
And as you said, Greg has a real good handle on the ice.
well, and that makes a big difference.
Well, it instills confidence in the team.
Well, the skip position, I guess, is like a quarterback on a football team. You got sometimes, somebody has to be in charge of what you're doing, and you got to exude confidence, and that permeates throughout the whole team.
No doubt about that.
If your skip is flustered, the rest of the team know it.
Greg has no shortage of confidence. He's a very confident young man.
No. Well, I don't think you can skip and be successful if you're not confident. I think you got too many. There would be too many indecisions.
I think this has to curl too, Mark. Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh,
He might have. No, he hung on it. He's at
Yeah.
the shot rocket just came up enough for him.
bounced into the other one, yeah.
So, in behind the long guard, or not a long guard, but in behind the guard. So he's forcing Smith to make a good rock here. And like we said at the start of the end, Glen, Team Skanes are just looking for a deuce here. Get a couple points on the board.
That's right.
Try to change the flow of the end.
Get rid of that pesky hammer.
Get rid of that hammer. But this is a big shot for Greg Smith. But this shot, it doesn't have to be perfect to be a good shot here. He can just get through the hole and be mostly wide open. As long as he's shot rack into 4 foot, it's still going to be difficult for Blandford to get him out.
The draw on the other turn is tough.
Now, this got to curl a fair bit, I think, but they're working on it. But they got good sweepers who can bend this.
Here it goes. Got a good one, I think. No.
I don't know if he's
I
not
guess
sure if he's
no.
shot or not. But like you said,
Now, that overhead view, it appears as though yellow is shot, but
it stops the draw path
it does.
for. So Matt Blanford's going to have a bit more of a difficult shot to get his 2.
I think he might have to hit that one fairly thin and bounce into the other one.
Now, the way the rocks are, couldn't you not draw between the 2 guards to the edge of the outside part of the 8 foot?
You would think.
And be.
They haven't even looked at that.
They haven't even looked at that. Because that hole is 2.5 feet wide.
And they've also gone through it 2 or 3 times, so they should know the path.
well,
But they didn't look at it. I think they get sort of tunnel vision.
I think they're playing the hit and roll here. Not a lot of room. You got to be pretty tight to that.
This is crucial.
If it overcurls at all and he takes that blue one, you could spill it in for a point.
Oh, bite your tongue.
But I mean, there's
You're right.
There's
It's a minefield.
and if it's a bit wide, you could jam it on. Like, this is not an easy shot.
That has to curl. Nope.
I don't know.
I don't think. No.
I think it's just 1.
Well, mission accomplished for Smith. 4-1.
Forced 1. Yep. Again, we said that last rock doesn't have to be perfect to be a good shot.
Yeah.
He never got shot rock, but it
was in the way.
took away the draw path and forced Blanford into a much more difficult shot. So struggles continue for Team Skanes.
Yeah, they're having execution issues. Hard time making 2 or 3 in a row, you know.
And like you said, you're trying your best to get out of it, but sometimes the curling gods are not on your side.
No, and Greg Smith is not giving them an inch either. He's
Well, they haven't
he
missed
keeps
much.
maintaining-
They've,
no,
like
played
you
very
said, they
well.
haven't given them many opportunities. But there's still 6 ends to go, and
This one could get messy. His end.
they got to get more rocks in play. Just going to do a quick update now across the board here in a second. Just let me get all the scores up. So, it appears to be. Let's see here now. In our feature game, it appears to be after 3 ends, 5-1 for Team Smith. It's still showing as 1-0 for Lambswood over Hancock. After 3 ends on sheet 5, it is 1-0 for Simmons over Walters. And after 3 ends on ice 6, it appears to be 2-0 for Team Young over Team Tipple. So all the games are still fairly close. Our game has the biggest margin, but there's been a lot of nice rocks made and rocks in play. So looking for much of the same here in the 4th end.
And Mark, the ice is such that you can get back in. You can bury rocks. You can bury multiple rocks around one guard. So Skanes and Blanford, they have to. They got to find their draw weight and quickly.
Well, Mosier's first rock slipped into the rings here, so the struggle is real, and it continues. Because Smith is just going to play a hit here, and
yeah, that's
Blanford will Team Skanes, Matt Blanford, they'll just call for another one up front.
yeah, that slipping into the rings was not what Skanes and the guys were looking for.
No, absolutely not.
If they can just get a guard on the center line, Greg Smith can't be too cute playing around it because you rub it off the center line, Goes back and your shooter comes out.
Yeah, I know.
So
It's just they got.
you got to get it on the center line.
Skanes is, they're going to get this one on the center line. They can't tick it, and they just want to get some.
Get rocks in play, regardless what color, right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter right now. They just got to get some guards up. Hard to steal if there's no guards. You're hoping for, a pretty simple miss, an open hit and roll out or a heavy draw.
At this level,
But
I
if you get
wouldn't.
guards in play, you put a bit more. You can squeeze the opposition a bit more.
I'm sure Mike would like to atone for the last one. Get this on the center line, a couple of feet, 3 feet in front of the rings. Get something going.
We talked about how, well, my personal opinion, I think Mosier is one of the best leads in the island, and Harry slips into the rings. So you don't know when you're struggling with that draw weight, it's not a good thing. You're trying to fight it all the time. But he comes back with a good second rock. They got some separation between the two guards here now. Smith's I'm not sure what to call it. I guess he's playing to come around here.
Yeah, I think with the 5 rock rule, he probably has no
Yep.
alternative.
Come around. You don't need to be perfect. Just want to get into the 8-foot somewhere. Take away the draw path for Team Skanes. Must be pretty close.
They've had great weight control right from the start.
Again. Nice spot. Again, what that shot does, it takes away the draw path for Team Skanes. It's a perfect spot for it. Like you said, you don't need to bury. You just got to half under.
Shortens up the rings pretty quickly.
Now, I'm not sure what the call is here. Is he playing the out-turn come around?
I believe that's what he's doing. Yeah.
Which is a good call. Actually, I like it.
Got to get rocks in play, right?
Well, if he gets around here, I think you're going to see Smith then. He's going to go out and peel something.
Oh, I think so.
So, and there must be pretty close. If you can get it by, it's going to be close.
Oh, great sweeping, guys.
That's a nice shot by.
Go as far as it can go.
That's a beauty shot by Spencer Wicks. But Greg's going to go out now and peel like we said. And I say he's going to have it. There's going to be a couple of racks in a row. You're going to have Zach Young and Chris Ford peeling the front rocks.
Yeah, I think this would be just a hit and release now. Hit and replace.
Well, the point here now when you're peeling is to give the skip the easiest shots possible.
This one seems to be over curling a little bit.
Okay, left the long guard, but got rid of the short guard, which is probably more advantageous to him anyway. I think it overcurled a little bit. I think they were trying to cross the second guard and get rid of 2 of them.
This is an interesting call. He's guarding the blue, which will leave the yellow exposed.
Well, I think if he guards the yellow, Greg can come down blue on the yellow. So.
Oh, yeah, right.
It's, you can't cover both sides. So I think he got to come into the middle here.
What he's trying, I think.
And I'd like to leave the guard just touch the center line, so that they can still come around on the in turn, even if Greg comes around on the out turn. So I like where that is because you can get around now on the in turn into the 4-foot.
Now Greg may try to get both guards.
And you can't stop them if they make the peel. If they make the double peel, they make the double peel.
Yeah, you can only make it as difficult as you can, and you, like you said earlier, they need breaks to get back in the game. If you don't get breaks, you're not going to get back in.
They need either just to get the one guard off here or jam the blue into the yellow or something along those lines. But if he makes the double peel, that's all you can do. It's just a good shot by Team Smith. Never missed it by much, I don't think.
Just over the top.
Now they can guard the yellow. But you're going to see Ford playing another peel or run back here now.
I think so.
Well, the point of this when you're up is to give your skip the easiest shots possible, open takeouts.
That's right.
So you don't want them drawing around guard against 2 and 3 in the 4
No, that's right, with a 4-point lead.
Yeah, with a 4-point lead. It's like they say in soccer, if you make your goalie work hard, you're doing something wrong.
That's right. Hard to score goals when the goalie's working hard. Now to see if Trent can find his draw weight. This is a time when he needs it. He's struggling with his speed. Well, the sweeper sneaked that one over anyway, so
Yeah, I
Not
don't think
all is
Greg's
lost.
worried about the yellow rock being open. His danger rocks are those yellow guards in front.
yes, that's right.
That's going to cause him grief. So you're going to see Chris Ford try to double him off here. They've had a couple of cracks to double guards and haven't quite made it yet.
Well, it looks pretty close.
No, looks
Oh,
jammed.
he's stuck it on it, yeah.
And they're going to try to. Team Skanes are going to put that guard back on that side again. Now, they could also. Now, you're down to your third slash rock. They could come around on the intern. Potentially. But I think the guard is probably the preferred shot here.
Yeah, and hope you don't get the double peel.
And hope you
then
don't
at
get
the
the
end you
double-
go around on the intern side.
Like you said, you got no control over how well the other team plays. And if they make the double peel, they make the double peel. But I
Right.
think you need that guard.
You could almost corner freeze the blue one if you wanted to. But get the separation.
This line looks pretty good. Well,
Going for speed again.
they got to get a little bit of separation if they can. That covers the back one. And they got
Oh, yep.
4 feet separation. But you're going to see
Good shot.
Craig Smith. No, he's going to play yellow on the blue now. I think just take the double peel on the guards. Yeah, that's what he's going to play. And if you hit it just in the sweet spot, you could get that second guard coming back into the rings anyway.
The third's second stone. He'd dearly love to make this now.
It's going to be close, I think. There you go.
There you go. Yep.
And got everything going. It's a good shot. That's always the danger when you're playing, giving the other team the double peel, that one comes back and hits your rock in the rings, but there's not much you can do about it.
No.
You force him to do it, and he makes a good rock, and now Skane's got a choice.
That was an end changer, that one.
Well, they can't if they come around the corner guard, that blue rock is still a shot, so I think you got to play the hit and roll. Or just throw a guard up. They're going to peel, then you play a hit and roll on your last one. Like right now, the end is not set up for Team Skanes to get a steal.
No.
So right now, a good outcome for them would be if Team Smith can take one. And
Yeah.
they can get the hammer back and try to put 2 points on the board in the fifth.
They'd like to not have him blanket.
Blank doesn't help their cause at all. There's one end closer to the end of the game
Right.
and one end less that they can do anything about it. I thought they might have been throwing the guard, but they're playing.
And freeze, I think, is he?
Maybe they were trying to come around,
Yeah, they were trying to go around it.
which was fine too. You got to take some chances when you're down 4 points.
Greg would like to make this and separate the two blues. You either rolled to our right or bump the other one, roll to the left and bump the other one under the corner. He'd like some separation.
Well, if it hits and stays there, I think you're forcing Blanford to make the double.
Agreed.
But
and then you can blank if you
if
wish.
you can roll 2 or 3 feet to the other side of the 8-foot here, and you're putting a bit of pressure on Matthew Blanford here to make a big rock, or they're going to give up a couple of more points. Right
Really
now,
love
Team
not to
Smith
do
got these guys right where they want them.
Yeah. It's just been an issue of execution, Mark. It's not like they're calling a strange game. It's just that they're not executing the way they'd like to.
Okay. I think Greg wanted to roll a bit on the wide side on that, but Blanford's going to play the double.
So Greg wouldn't mind taking a blank here if he can get it.
Well, if he scores 1, he's still up 6-1. If he blanks, he's up 5-1, and he retains the hammer. So either situation is not bad to be in for Team Smith. But now Blanford still has to make the double here.
I think they like it. Yep. Did he get up under the corner?
Boy, that looks like a
He
pretty
did
good.
so.
Forcing Smith to draw
Yeah.
for 1. That is a pretty good result for
Great
Matthew
shot.
Blanford. Well, it's a shot like that can turn things around for a team.
Make you feel better about yourself. That's a good
again,
shot.
I agree with you again. So far, this game has been about execution for Team Skanes. Just haven't been firing on all cylinders, and that said, Team Smith have missed very much.
Right.
It hasn't been one-sided. It's been one team has been really, really good, and one team has just been off that little tiny bit. And it's not that they haven't made some nice shots. It's just that a half an inch here or an inch roll too far, not enough, or just grazed the guard, and just haven't got the right placement. But this is a big draw here for Team Smith. And they're working it pretty hard here. But it looks like it's going to be okay.
Sweepers don't seem to be too worried about it.
No.
Okay.
1 for Smith, okay. So
That's 5-point difference. Skanes have to come out now and go all in.
all in. They don't have a choice. So after 4 ends in our feature game, score is 6-1. Sheet 4, Lambswood and Hancock are not quite finished. The 4th end is still showing as 2-0 for Lambswood. Sheet 5, Team Simmons and Team Walters are in the 5th end. So after 4 ends, it is tied 1-1. And they've just finished the 4th end on sheet 6, but haven't posted the score. So it's still showing as 2-0 for Team Young over Team Tipple.
It's good to see the younger teams. Evan Kearley's team. Obviously Nathan Young's team. They're still only in the early 20s, and Parker Tipple, his team, up and coming junior teams. And you can notice as the year progresses, you can notice the improvement. Just it's obvious, and they're good players, and they're dedicated to being the best they could be.
Well, we got a couple of younger under 18 teams in our club that are not bad. But
I know of one.
But there's 3 pretty good under 21 junior teams. 2 of which are in the Tankard, Hancock and Tipple, both. And in the last couple of years, you've seen a big improvement in both those teams. The other team is Team Perry, but they're not competing in this week as one of their players got picked up by Nathan Young's team because one of their players is in Korea. And Simon Perry, the skip, is also in Korea as the half of the Canadian mixed doubles team at the Youth Olympics. And they're a very strong team. So we might not have a lot of numbers, but we have some pretty good junior curlers here.
And you might add that Kaylee Locke, who is the other half of that mixed doubles team, is also from this club.
Is also in her team without her is in the ladies, in the Scotties, which start, I believe, this afternoon.
Thursday? Tomorrow, I think.
Today or, I'm not even sure, Glenn.
I'm not sure either.
Today or tomorrow. Yeah, Glenn, I just checked. Yeah, the Scotties don't start till tomorrow afternoon. Is draw one.
That should prove interesting too. Some good
Well,
players in that.
there's no definitive favorite, and so I think it's wide open to who can win.
And Zach Shirtliff did it again.
He's been he
Top
hasn't.
8 foot.
I don't know if he's missed a shot yet this game. He's been spot on all game.
They played very, very well. They all have that team.
And
But Zach has really set the ends up very well.
Team Skanes just trying to throw a corner guard, another corner guard, I'm assuming. Now he's playing to come around his own corner guard. The first yellow rock is sort of halfway between the rings and the hog line.
Yeah.
So he's coming around now because that corner guard's going to be peeled first opportunity. I don't know. That's why the first guard, if you can get it a little tighter or just over the hog line, you could throw the double guard on one side. But when it's in the middle,
it's hard enough to set up a double
you don't have enough separation. But I think I would have liked another corner guard on the other side there. Because Smith is just going to call this down as a guard, tight guard, or even if it's into the 12 foot, it's fine. Because Zach Young's second rock is going to be a peel.
Yeah, if he had thrown the corner guard, they couldn't hit it yet.
No, I know.
So that might have been a better choice.
Well, I thought he was coming to the middle. He's playing down on that.
Playing down the shot rock, that yellow, yeah.
Again, down weight.
Beautiful control. Beautiful control. Perfect.
As we say, an absolute pistol. Like you said, the two Zacks in that front end haven't missed. I don't know if they've missed a shot this game.
I don't think they have.
And they're into the fifth end here. So it's been a difficult time for Team Skanes to get anything going. They've been trying.
The Zacks are not cooperating, are they?
No, well, Team Skanes, they've been trying hard to get rocks in position to get something going, and they've made some nice come-arounds and whatnot. And every time Team Smith has responded, and with the down weight, come around, tap backs and stuff.
Wonderful control.
Yep.
Well, Trent's going to try to manufacture something here. Just move something around. Maybe move that one of those blues deep behind the corner guard. Roll in between the two blues. Try to set something up. Make it more difficult for Smith.
I think, my opinion right now, it don't matter where this rock ends up. I think Greg Smith is going to peel that corner guard. Because if he's just going to be banging rocks in the middle, those odds are going to be pretty good to get out of trouble. Oh, you're going to play on what they just threw. I look at this situation, Glenn, of the 5 rocks in play, the rock that's going to give the most trouble to Greg, in my opinion, is the corner guard.
It's not the one in the rings.
It's not the rock in the rings. That's quite easily accessible. Because even if you make this, Skanes might come around the corner guard again.
Oh, I think he will.
Because right now you're probably going to take a couple of your own rocks potentially out of the rings with this shot.
Line looks pretty good.
You got a nice rock.
Good control.
Like I said, those guys haven't missed a shot in 5 ends.
No.
That front end.
It's been wonderful. And without throwing it 90 miles an hour.
No, and they haven't thrown a full weight hit yet.
No.
I think Zach had one peel, Zach Young, that he threw full weight hit.
Oh, yes.
Other than that, everything has been hack, board, backline. And they've made every single one.
Yeah.
So when you're going up against that, you got to be playing equally as good, or it's a struggle. Again, Skanes is playing in the rings here.
Which I'm sure. Is he going around the corner, Mark? Do we?
I'm not. No, they're playing a hit. See,
Greg is happy with this.
No doubt. I don't like playing a hit here. I don't know what this gives them. They need points. And again, trying to sweep it out. You want every rock and play you can get. Hope that Team Smith jams something for you. I like coming around the corner guard there.
Oh, I agree. Down 5 points, and you've got a corner guard, and you're not using it.
Right? Why did you put it up? They've only drawn around it one time. If you come around the corner guard, Smith peels it, then you freeze down into that group of 3 rocks in the middle, and you got something going all of a sudden. I mean, right now, Smith and them, they're just playing takeouts. They haven't missed one, and Team Skanes is making it a little easy on them. Again, playing a hit and roll. Why?
He indicated first to go around the corner and then changed his mind.
You can come around the corner and be second shot.
I think Trent, when Matt tapped the corner freeze, I think Trent responded by saying, "What about hit and roll on the blue?" And I think that's why Matt changed his mind.
Even if you make this, you're leaving Smith a 1 foot run back. I mean, you got to hope for a big miscue by your opposition, which may not come.
His line looks pretty close.
He might have. It's a nice shot. I mean.
Yep.
But you're leaving him a short run back.
I guess he's just trying to manufacture something, anything. They're having a really difficult time getting cooperation from the Smith rink.
Again, not a rocket here, just control weight. And they're on and off, and again, this is not working out well for.
Perfect.
Like you said, and that's in front of the tee line, so even if you put it there, they got another straight hit to get rid of it. So why not come around the corner guard now? Try to make him make something more difficult than a straight hit, or play the hit. Maybe want to play the hit and roll. It's easier to get around the corner guard if you straight draw.
I don't know what the hit and roll gets you here, Mark.
Unless you got to make it perfect, and you got to make sure your second shot. If your only third shot, it's no good to you. So I'm not a fan of this call. I don't think they're going around it quite the right way to generate a couple of points.
I guess you get demoralized after the other team starts making everything. You start hoping and praying and trying different things, and so far it just hasn't worked out for them. But
well, again, they've tried different things to their credit, but they're not getting any help from Team Smith. And this one here is over-curled badly.
He's having a difficult time with his release.
All right.
Okay. Greg has done very well to keep them away from that corner guard.
Well,
now they've cooperated too.
They have cooperated too. I mean, if I was Matt Blanford and Trent Skanes now, I'm thinking, okay, Team Smith haven't missed a takeout. And not that they haven't missed, they've made them all perfect.
They've made them perfect, yes.
So what do you have to do to force them to do something different?
You got to hide rocks where you can.
You got to hide rocks where they can't hit them. and force them to make them draw a bit more. And if you're playing on the open side of the sheet with rocks in front of the tee line, Team Smith is going to just keep pounding at them. Now that said, they've thrown that down weight and the control weight hits beautifully all game.
They have.
And working hard on this one here.
That was well swept again.
Yep.
Very well swept.
They've been at that all game, though, Glen.
Yeah.
And then roll over, take away the corner guard.
Yeah.
Everything going right.
Everything's going your way now.
Everything's going your way. The teams.
That's demoralizing, Mark. When
Skanes and Blanford, they don't really have much going here. Playing, I don't know what he's playing here now.
Playing a hit and roll.
Over behind the corner?
Behind the blue that just rolled
So
in.
you're playing a 6 or 7 foot roll, and you have to make it perfect to have a shot at 2. Like you said, it's been, not that you can't make it, but it's been that type of game.
Had a hard time generating offense. This one seems to be over curling as well, but they just can't seem to get it together.
No, it's been a struggle, no doubt. Just a quick update here now across the board. Team Hancock and Team Lambswood. Hancock came back with a deuce in the 4th end, so it's 2-2 after 4. Into the break on sheet 5, Simmons picked up a 4-ender in the 5th to go up 5-1 on Team Walters. And after 4, Nathan Young 2, Team Tipple 1. And they're into the 5th end, or almost finished the 5th end over there now. So we'll have more updates to come. But Smith is just playing a rock here to the top of the 8 foot. Trying to force Matthew Blanford to draw for 1.
Yeah, if he could just bite the 8 foot where a nose hit doesn't get your shot rock.
Even if he's only in the 12 foot here, you're going to force Blanford to draw. You don't want to come deep and give him a straight hit.
No, that's right.
So this is about placement. But they're not touching it. He might be a little heavy here. No, he's probably gonna let him off the hook a little bit. He's probably gonna play a soft hit on that one. I'm going to think. Yep, that's what it looks like here.
Got to make this, Mark, to live to fight another end.
Well, it's a little straighter on this turn. That in turn, a couple of times they've crossed the face.
Yeah.
There's more curl going to the wing there. So I expect them to make this, but again, sweeping it there now. Looks like it's going to be pretty close.
Well done.
1 for Team Blanford in the 5th. And we're going to take a short break now as the 5th end break is in play, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes with N6. And we're back here now at the St. John's Curling Club with the 2024 edition of the men's Tankard. 6-10 action here. Team Smith, Team Skanes. Score is 6-2 after 5. Team Smith. First 5-end recap is Team Smith. So I don't know, Glenn, if they've missed a shot.
Well, I think the biggest miss they had was maybe Greg's last one that he tried to throw top 8 and went top 4 with.
And, hard to classify that as a miss.
Yeah, that's right.
And Team Skanes haven't played bad. It's just that they had a couple of minor miscues, but Team Smith just haven't given them anything to work with. And
Well, Zach Shirtliff just proves that he is a human. He missed one. He slid through the rings.
well, that's the first rock
miss.
he's missed this game. So that might be an opening for Team Skanes now to try to get something going. Because they're going to have to try to get a steal here. They can't afford to let 5 ends to go, and they're starting the 6-10 without the hammer, down 4. So they probably, in all likelihood, if you want to push to get to the end of the game, they're probably going to need a steal or 2 on a couple of ends. So it would help if they can get a steal here and narrow the gap to a 3-point deficit.
Yeah, they've got a hill to climb. There's no question about
Yeah.
it. And I agree with you, Mark. You go all in. As I said earlier, you lose by 1 or you lose by 10. It doesn't matter.
Well,
you got to try to get back in the game.
It's a 9-team round robin, so they got 8 games. This is only game 3, and they'll go to whoever loses this game will be 1-2. By no means are you out of the playoff picture, because there's just too many games to come yet. And you live to die another day.
Yep.
But I think they got to go hard. They got to really try to push the issue and push the issue here and try to get something going and put some pressure on Team Smith to make some nice shots.
Well, after the miss from Shirtliff, he came right back with the draw of the button, so he's got it back in gear again. They obviously have the draw there, Mark. They can't peel guards yet, especially that one up on the center line. Can't even touch that. So, but you can rest assured, I think eventually.
Well, I think Skanes here is just asking to come around freeze to it.
Yeah.
And again, you just got to get stuff in play. In a normal game that would be tied, you might try to push it off the pin. But in this game, down 4, I think a freeze is just, and even if you're in front of it by a couple of feet, you just can't flip and walk and roll in the open, or you can't push it back too far. You want something that they can jam on, and looks like it's going to be a pretty nice rock here.
Very nice, yeah.
Now, Smith is going to play the guards. They're the only rocks that are going to keep him or give him any trouble. Again,
This is a replay of the 4th end.
pretty much.
Might have got that one going a little bit. Oh,
Got away with it. I don't think that's what the call was. I think we're trying to play the double on the guards.
oh, that's when you turn to your opponent and say sorry.
But that's the way the game's been going
Yeah.
for Team Skanes. So even when they get a miscue on Team Smith, it works out beautifully for them. So
Yeah, I don't think the 25-foot straight run-back pick was the call.
I don't think it was a call. But again, from Team Skanes' point of view, you got to just work with what you got, and you have no control over how that works out with your opposition. But again, it looked like he got that going a bit, Glenn.
He did, yeah.
And the only good thing for Team Skanes is the long guard is still there, so they still got stuff to work with. And so you just got to keep trying to push the envelope here. Working hard on this.
It's a tighter line than the last one.
Weight looks pretty good.
Little tighter line. Cross it a little bit.
Yeah, but it's in behind the long guard, and I don't think it's a. I think
yeah,
it's
it's
pretty
good.
good rock.
Yeah, it's good.
Greg Smith's going to go out and try that run back again. So we'll see what. We'll just look at the release here now on Zach Young.
That was pretty good. Threw that one very well, I think.
Well, need to let it come up a little bit. But that's still a good rock. Peel off the top guard, roll the shooter right over.
It is, and Greg was, he was being a little cautious. If you let it come up a little bit more to make the double, it's only rolling half as far away from the center line again.
Well, the thing about making the double, if you hit that yellow rock wrong, the guard, when you slash it across, you could drive it back onto the yellow in the rings, get rid of the blue rock, and leave two rocks in a straight line.
Yeah.
Behind on the center line, and then Skanes guards it. Now they got two rocks lined up because when Smith or when Skanes on their last rock, that yellow rock in front that they picked off Zach's first rock was on the other side,
right?
So they couldn't jam it. Now they could jam it. So Greg Smith erred on the side of caution here and just got the straight peel, which was fine.
Yeah,
you're forcing Smith or Blanford and Skanes to put it back, which they do. So he's going to play. But again, the same dynamic is in play again here.
It's a good point you make, Mark, the fact that it crossed the face a half rock more than the first one, but it's in a better position now.
It's in a better position. It makes the double harder. You got to watch. Now, you can still make the double and not jam it, but I think Smith team, they're just happy with the straight peel here.
Yeah. Because eventually, Skanes, Blanford, they have to come back to the middle to that blue one eventually. So Greg is prepared to leave the path open for himself to score at least one.
No, I think what you said is correctly right. So they're just going to try to replace the guard. And I think Greg's going to go up and going to peel it out. And depending where it ends up, it could be, they might not even try to double peel. But this is going to be a bit tighter line. So the double peel might be in play here. I think now where they're lined up, Glen, you can play the double peel and roll the shooter off. You don't have to go across the top.
No, that's right.
So that jam is not in play now. That came a bit too deep, in my opinion.
Yeah, you can roll the high one and your shooter in the same direction.
In the same direction. If you kept it high, you couldn't do that. This looks like it's going to be pretty close. And
just as you predicted, Mark.
Well, by coming deep, and like you said, Chris Ford has made just everything this game. Like you said, they've had 95% hits, and they've been
spot on.
They've been spot on all game. It's been
they're in the high 90s as a team.
Absolutely. And even when they've had a miscue, it's worked out for them.
Worked out, yeah.
So, and Glenn, you and I have been on that opposite side of a team playing like that, so I understand how Blanford and Team Skanes feel about it. There's only so much you can do.
Like death by a thousand
and if you
cuts.
get any kind of struggle at all, it just makes for a long game, and you're trying to push hard, and it don't matter what you do, you got
nothing goes your way.
Nothing is going your way.
Yeah, it's tough.
And you're throwing the rock well and everything else, and it's a struggle.
And it can be demoralizing. You play all year, practice all year to get this opportunity. Then you go out and you have a couple of execution issues yourself, and the other team, when they miss, they make.
Well,
and that's tough.
You got no control over that.
No,
so that's where the mental part of the game comes in, and you just got to stay strong and fight. You can't quit. There's still a few ends to go. And you do have a rock in the 4-foot now with a guard probably covering 2/3 of that, Glen, or half.
It's hard to get a good.
And we need Ford to move out of the
that.
way here so we can see. Yeah, I'm not right behind the sheet, so I got a bit of an advantage. I can see a little bit of it from that you might not be able to see on the stream. Yeah, I think he's covering about half of it. But again, Smith is going to play. I think he's just playing the straight peel. I think there's too much danger to play the run back here. But he's coming with the heat, though, Glen.
The hardest one anybody's thrown today. Well, he's after cutting off his intern draw. But they do have to move that blue one now.
They have, well, it's
He's going to have a shot.
Blanford's last rock. So I think he got to come down, and he can't afford to cross it if he's coming on the outturn. He's got to pretty much nose it. But the one he hits has to come off the blue and probably go to the side to forfeit to give him some separation.
So there was a look at it. This is no piece of cake either, Mark.
Well, I don't think he can just. He either got to roll his shooter, or the one he hits, the yellow one he hits, got to come off the blue and roll out to the edge of the 4 foot.
Yeah, and I think that's where you want to go, so that a nose hit on the one that he throws now would not outcount the one that.
Yeah,
to the edge
I
of the
think the
four.
best option would be have enough weight to hit this on the nose, and have the one you hit scored out to the edge of the 4 foot.
Agreed. Yeah.
I think if your shooter rolls out there and you leave this one in the button, it's a straight hit for one.
Right.
So if you're trying to steal, I think I think that's the way to play it. But again, if it overcurls it all, you don't move the blue one enough. They're screaming.
It's curling now. I don't know. It's hard to get a. Well, he's lying too.
Lying too. That's what they wanted. It's just I think they scored it a little too far. I think I might have just overcurled the hair.
Just a hair, yeah.
But again, that's the way the game's been going for him. Just overcurl the hair.
Yeah.
But it's what they had tried to do was the way to play it, and they're still lying too. But you're leaving Smith. If the second shot here was only on the edge of the 4 foot, it makes it a bit much more difficult. A little tougher for Smith to score as one. Now
But it is progress, Mark. This is the first time I think that Greg has had to throw against two.
It is. So it is progress. And they played a pretty good end. This got to curl a bit. And looks like it's going to be the first break we've seen for Team Skanes. Steal of one. Well,
small steps.
Small step. If that curls a hair more, he could have been jammed, and it would have been a steal of two. So first sign of progress, like you said, Glenn. First chance that's the first bit of pressure they've had on Greg Smith this game.
And both teams, I think you started the show today talking about the losses they had last night. Both teams remember those. So Skanes he realizes that you can come back from a 4-point deficit, and Greg realizes you can also lose with a 4-point advantage. So they both that's fresh in their memories.
So
and they're making the lead has shrunk from 5 points to 3.
Well, that might give Team Skanes a bit of life here now. Like you said, it's still a big hill to climb. They're still down 3, playing 7 without the hammer.
Oh, it is.
But again, 5 rock, no tick rule. Work on one more steal again. Then it's a 2-point game. Again, I think you got to go all in for a steal again. I think if you give one to Greg, it's a 4-point game with 3 ends to go. I don't like the odds of coming back.
No,
I think you're running out of ends. But if you can steal one, make it a 2-point game with 3 ends to go, you don't know. Then you could give up 1 and 8, get 2 and 9, and it's a 1-point game coming home. So again, the odds are not in your favor, but it's a lot closer than it was. And
a half hour ago, he would have taken this.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So that was a big steal in 6. It changes the dynamic a little bit in the game going forward. But again, I think that Team Skanes, they've really got to push for another steal here. But that was the first bit of pressure we've seen on Greg Smith in 6 ends.
They're having a hard time getting a rock on the center line where you can't be ticked, you know?
Absolutely. Just a quick recap now, going across the sheets. Sheet 4, Lambswood and Hancock. After 5 ends, it's 3-2 for Lambswood. Sheet 5, Simmons versus Harold Walters, 5-2, 5-2 after 6. And on sheet 6, after 5, it is 4-1 for Nathan Young over Spencer Tipple. And we'll keep you updated as the scores get updated across the other sheets.
So Hancock's team is holding their own against Lambswood.
And that young Hancock team, they had a great game last night and deserved to win.
Oh.
Against Lambswood. And Lambswood ended up seeding 10.
Oh, Young, you mean?
Or Team Young, sorry. Had their hands full with Hancock last night, and then some.
Now, this goes back to Mark, what you said earlier when you're trying to set up double guards.
Yep.
The first one came in deep enough so that you can get a lot of separation, and Mike made 2 beauties, one just over the hog line, one just outside the rings.
That's how you get guards going, and makes them very difficult to double peel. Because even if you make the double peel, you leave the shooter.
You're leaving the guard there, that's
leaving
right.
the guard out front. Zach Sherlock put his first one, top of the 8-foot. Now this one seems to have an awful lot of rotation.
That's going to carry it farther than he'd like it to go.
And the line is pretty wide here. That's really not where they wanted that. That back there in the 12, but it can only help Team Skanes a bit. But now they're going to play that come around on that in-turn again.
This last end and the start of this end is the first chink we've seen in the armor.
Of Team Smith, first time.
Yeah.
I agree. Now, they never missed much last end, but again, first sign of showing any signs of a miscue. They're looking pretty close at this. Looks like it's starting to come here now, but it still looks like the line is pretty generous here, Glenn.
Yeah, he's got.
I don't know if the thrower was if Spencer was a little wide or just a little generous on the ice.
Yeah.
But he's back on the back one. Not the end of the world. I think that they're shot, but Greg's going to try those guards now.
You knew this was coming.
Yeah, you knew this was coming. First opportunity to be able to hit. Because right now those double guards are just danger written all over them for Team Smith. Could be pretty close here.
It's really close. Oh, a beauty. That is hard to do.
Great shot by Zach Young there. And rolled the guard up. He rolled the guard over about a foot. But he opened up the rock in the 8-foot. So he opened up the whole side of the intern side of the sheet.
I don't think you could do much better. It goes back to what you were saying earlier. It's really difficult to make those 2 without leaving a guard.
Yeah, you couldn't do it. You'd have to throw an absolute howitzer to roll a whole lot more than that. And even then, I don't think he'd roll out.
No.
He might roll another foot or 2, tops. That's one thing, Glenn, you see with some of the top Grand Slam teams. The guys on the front end and the third, they can throw that bomb weight so accurately. And so on a shot like that, they can roll 5 feet.
Oh, yeah.
But for the mere mortals, I mean, you can make the double, but you're only going to roll a foot.
Yeah. There's not many that can throw it like Nichols and Amos Mozzaner from Italy and some of these guys. Just rockets.
Well, it takes a lot of effort. You got to practice that a lot. And to generate that weight, a lot of times is technique and power.
No question.
And so, it's not something that happens overnight.
Just playing a straight pick, I think, here, Mark. Straight peel.
And if you can get the one behind it, not the end of the world. That's two good shots by Zach Young. But again, it's the kind of stuff we've expected this game because they haven't missed very much at all.
Not very much.
But again, there's more going this end right for Team Skanes already than there has been in most of the game.
Absolutely.
So there's 4 rocks in play. They're drawing, put 5 rocks in play, and try to get a little bit of pressure. So a couple ends in a row here now, they've had some opportunity to put a little bit of pressure on the opposition.
And they are executing, Mark. The last
The
couple
last
of
couple ends
ends
have executed a bit better.
That's pretty good. Well, he's got 2 frozen. 2 yellows frozen to 2 blues.
What's Greg? He's just playing a tap on his own?
He's just playing a tap, trying to take the freeze off.
And try to stagger so there's
Yeah.
no run back. Yeah.
Any weight in this one.
This is all much line as it is weight.
Bounced a little more than he wanted to, I think.
No,
Oh, that's pretty good.
That's not bad. But again, Team Skanes, they still have something going there. They can just tap that up, a tap freeze. This is more rocks. The angles are better the last couple of ends for Team Skanes than they had been for the first half of the game.
Yeah, agreed.
So they have something they can work with here. So a good rock here by Trent, and Smith is going to have to try to power it out.
Yeah, I think so.
But again, there's an opportunity here to make a really nice shot, put a lot of pressure back on Team Smith.
I think Trent indicated it was a little heavy.
The weight doesn't look too bad to me.
Got to curl up a bit more, I think, does it?
That's not bad.
Oh, that's not bad.
That's not bad.
That's pretty good. That's pretty
He's
good.
in behind the cover there now.
It is.
And there's access to the rock at the back, the shot rock.
That's a good shot.
So that's a good shot.
Greg is into a mess he didn't want to be into.
Absolutely. This Team Smith does not want this many rocks in play, with the angles not all in their favor. So what's this call here, Glenn? He's coming off the yellow?
I think so. But I can't believe he's
An
playing that
outturn hit?
skinny, is he?
Yeah,
No,
okay.
he's playing it roll, yeah.
Play the outturn hit. It looks like the call was just a normal hit weight here. No need to pussyfoot around with
So
the down weight.
I guess blue must be shot rock if he's playing
Looks to me
this.
like blue is shot rock at the back. But if you make this, I think Team Skanes makes the come around.
Oh, absolutely. Might be a little thinner than he wanted.
But it's going to come up on the other one, I believe. No, it's not bad.
Well, the come around is there, though, as you said.
But then Smith will have that run back on that rock that's in the 12-foot there on the center line.
Oh, yeah.
The way they're lined up,
Blue is definitely shot rock, yeah.
yeah. And doesn't matter what Team Skanes does, Smith is going to have a shot.
He will.
But again,
He had one last end, too.
had one last end too.
They got to keep, as you said, keep fighting, keep pushing, keep making him make shots. You never know your luck.
Okay, well, the time out, there's a couple of updates across the board here. On sheet 4, Team Lambswood just stole 3 in the 6th end on Team Hancock to go up 6-2. Sheet 5, Simmons and Walters, it is 5-2 after 6. And Team Young, I believe, stole 2 in the 6-10 to go up 6-1 on Team Tipple.
There's starting to be some separation in those games too.
Starting to be a little bit of separation. Well, I think with the junior teams, Tipple and Hancock, they came into this with reasonable expectations of trying to win a couple of games, keep all your games close, use it as a learning experience. I believe it's the first Tankard for both those teams, and try to help prepare these teams for the under 21 junior provincials coming up.
Yeah, it bodes well for the curling around here for the juniors, I got to say.
Absolutely.
Men's and ladies.
So back to our feature game. Timeout for Team Skanes here. They have their coach out there, Dara Blanford. And they have a couple of options here, Glenn. They can play the in-turn come around. They can play the out-turn through the hole down on his own, but you're giving, I think that's the option I don't like, because you're giving them two. Team Smith has two blue rocks they can slash
into it, yeah.
Slash into it. Team Smith are going to have a run back or a slash regardless of what you play, but I like to come around here.
I like to get right to the face of that one at the back of the button if you can.
And if Smith makes a great rock and kills two of your own, well, you come around again.
That's live to fight another day. You keep going.
Yeah, and if he comes around and freezes the back one, and he only gets the slash on the top one, well, now they're shot rock. They put a guard on it. You never know what might happen.
That's right.
But we need a big shot here out of Matt Blanford. They got to squeeze just by the guard.
And we know it'll curl here. It'll hang for a while, but we know it'll finish.
They haven't really touched it yet. The weight looks pretty close here.
If the speed is good, it'll finish. Here it goes.
Still a long way out.
Not as close to that guard as he'd like to be.
No.
Getting pretty good, though. That's pretty good.
That's not bad. I don't know if they're shot rock or not. They may be. It's hard to tell.
It looks at that shot that they might be.
Yeah, it looks like they're shot rock. Well, that's what they wanted to be, shot rock after that shot. So that's not bad. I'm sure he would have liked an extra 6 inches of curl. But again, Smith is elected, looks like he's elected to play the run back on that top blue rock. Now again.
And this is where Skanes and Blanford have their fingers crossed that he doesn't get both yellows.
You could get both yellow, and the hole might just be big enough. He could go right through and not get either one of the yellows. So, a half an inch either way, you can make the double on the yellows, or you could not get either one of them. So it's going to be pretty tight.
Saying, Mark, bite your tongue.
But now, if it hangs out, he just gets the one, which means Blanford's going to draw back to try to lie 2. But again, it's a big shot here for Greg Smith.
It is. He makes a lot of these, too.
He does indeed.
Over curled.
Ooh.
Never saw that coming.
No, that went hard.
No, picked, he says. I think they picked.
Yeah, that never looked like it wasn't. But they weren't sweeping like it was going to be close to that guard.
Well, nothing curled like that.
There.
In that spot. They've been throwing board weight hits there.
So
freeze your own.
I think you come down on your own again.
Love to figure a way how to move that blue, but
well, I think if you come around to the top of the 1 foot now, I don't even think you come right down to your own. If you can get around that blue rock,
just outcount the blue at the back.
Just outcount and lie 1-2. But if you're behind that, get a bit more behind that guard or that rock in the 12 foot,
yeah.
You might force Smith to play that run back again. But it might be more difficult to score 1. This was the kind of end that Skanes wanted.
Absolutely.
That they got a shot. They get something going there. They got a chance here to lie 2. Pretty much the same line and just a hair less weight. But now it might curl more also at the same time.
The line's a little tighter than the last time.
Well, they have to get it by. They got to get it by that top blue one.
No, he's on the blue.
Is he on the blue?
Yeah. They gave up on the sweep. Maybe it was speed-wise or...
Well, if he had got by, they wouldn't have had that raise. Wouldn't be there.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened. I think Trent maybe thought it was going to curl more than it did.
Yeah, maybe.
But I agree with you. Just keep going. You don't have to get shot. Get half under the blue. The raise is gone.
Well, Greg Smith has to be careful here because there is a danger. If that over curls a bit, he misses the rock that Blanford just threw, goes across the top of the shot rock, which would kill his second shot. The one he hits rolls out, and it could potentially leave 3 yellows in the rings.
I thought Greg indicated he was going to throw bumper weight.
Now with that ice, he's not.
But with that ice, no, you're right. No.
I say he's playing the same shot. Looked like his last rock picked. So
yeah, I think it did.
Yeah, so this pretty much the same line. And if he gives up one, it's not the end of the world. But there's a chance here if you hit it just where you want, you could score 2. He's not throwing a ton of weight here,
it's
Glenn.
Quieter weight. That looks pretty good. Yeah, that's a good shot. Oh, through the hole.
I think
Let him give up the steal, did he?
He got 1 for sure.
Oh, did he? Okay, he might have gotten 2.
I think they're looking at us.
They're not going to tell us.
I don't know if this is 1 for sure for Team Smith.
That was a good shot.
That was a good shot. Like I said, he just played it, but he played with different weight. So he did take a bit more ice and drop his weight down.
Which indicates the first one definitely picked, because he threw that one hard and curled more than the second one.
No indication of how many it was.
As you got us all in suspense here. Somebody put the score up.
Yeah. Should be their first order of business. Regardless, they got 1, so at the very least they're up 4. So
but that's 2 ends in a row now where it's gotten a little bit messier than he
well, 2 ends in a row, Greg had to make a good rock.
Had to make a good shot.
And roll out in the 6, but he made a good rock there to score. And if he got 2, it's even a better rock.
But it makes you go back to what you said earlier. Why didn't they sweep Trent's or Matt's last rock? Just get it around that raise,
then
the raise wouldn't be there.
Then raise wouldn't be there. Yep. Well, Zach Sura left, top of the 4-foot. Again, yeah.
Repeating ourselves because he's repeating.
Well, he's only missed 1 rock this game. He was a little long a couple of ends ago on 1, but so he's had an outstanding game. And it's confirmed now it was 1 in 7th for Greg Smith. So that was a good rock to score 1. And 7-3 after 7. Team Smith over Team Skanes.
Yeah, that was a big point.
Big point. Well,
4-point lead as opposed to a 2-point lead.
Big difference. And with only 3 ends to go, it's huge.
But I'll give Team Skanes and Blanford credit. They've been all in the last couple of ends, and they've been doing more than holding their own.
The only bit of pressure that's been on Team Smith has been the last 2 ends. Yep. They've had some pressure on them from Team Skanes. Team Skanes, to their credit, after the break, they came out hard, and have played well the last 2 ends.
They have. They've been executing, and that's good on them. Well, Mark, what do you think the weather this morning when you got up, walked out to start your car had 16 or 20 below zero?
Too damn cold. Somebody said, "How cold was it?" Cold. Damn cold.
It's a Labrador morning. They step on the snow.
Man,
It's like styrofoam.
it was cold. Yeah, we don't get too much extreme weather here like that. But I was supposed to warm up later today or tonight, so
Good, good.
yeah.
Now, people in Calgary are probably saying, what, it's only minus 16? We're stuck out in the middle of the ocean. We're not used to that stuff. Sneak this one by. It's tight. Got it by.
Looks like it's going to be a good shot. Yep. And we're into it again, Glenn.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yep. Again, Team Skanes, to their credit, in the last couple, 2 or 3 ends now, they've been executing a bit better than the first half of the game.
And putting a little bit of pressure on the Smith team, and you've seen them. I'm not going to say crack, but they weren't as sharp as they had been early in the game because the shots are a little bit more tougher.
Yeah, the first half of the game, Team Smith never really missed anything. And not only did they not miss, all the rolls were right.
Yeah.
Well, Team Smith is playing a come around here. Zach Young in the hack.
The beauty of that free guard zone and no tick, you can't be ripping guards off until after 5 have been thrown. So
A little bit long here, I believe. Were they playing the come around or the tick, or I'm not sure what that was.
I don't know.
He just put the broom down. I couldn't tell. We have I think we have a final on ice 6. Not sure what the final result was. It's showing 6-1 after 6 for Team Young over Tipple. Not sure what happened in the 7th, but it looked like it's a final.
I think I would assume that Young picked up another 1 or 2, or
Let's see if I can get some information on that now. Team Young stole 1 more in 7. Final score, it appears to be 7-1. So Team Young goes to 2-0. And Team Young, defending champ, 2-time defending champ. That's the start that they were looking for.
well, Skanes got something going again here, Mark. They made another good come-around freeze.
Well, like
We go ripping guards.
in the second half of this team, Skanes team, they're a different team than they were in the first half, Glenn.
Absolutely.
To their
good to
credit,
see
they
that
dug.
they-
They must have had a little powwow in the 15 break and decided to come out hard and see what they could do.
Find a double peel again, I assume, Mark.
I would think there's no downside for trying a double. And if you don't make the double and you just run it back into the pocket, you could kill 2 of the yellows, potentially. And if you just jam it on one of the yellows, there's nothing gained. But
Little snug on this one.
yeah, I don't think.
Over the top of the handle, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, he might have got that going a bit. Most times, when you're not going to make the primary shot, you want to at least hit it on the pro side.
Well, yeah.
At
That
least
one
you,
came over the
and
top
even
of-
then, you don't make what you're calling, but you get something out of it. Or as we say, a pro side miss.
So just replace, I guess.
Looks like they're going to replace that guard. And it looks like on ice 4, we're having handshakes in the Lambswood-Hancock game. Not sure how many. It looks like Lambswood would have picked up a couple more points. Not sure what the final score will be. 6-2 after 6, but after 7, I think Lambswood got a couple more. So it looks like that game is over.
I might have been mistaken, Mark. I thought they may be replacing the guard, but he came right on in and froze the blue. So the blue is surrounded. I'll be surprised if that stays there to the end.
Well,
but Greg is going to rip guards, and he might just try to rip it into a couple of those yellows even.
Well, the thing is, you can't get rid of all the yellows with that blue rock there.
That's right.
So if you rip it in, just trying to change the angles and get rid of the blue rock.
Yeah, and then you go play doubles, play doubles. Again, the Skanes and the boys have got something going.
Again, if you can come back and get a deuce here and 8, makes it a 2-point game with 2 ends to go. Now, if you get 2 here, you pretty much got to steal the game out. But again, you got a chance.
You got a chance, that's right, which you didn't feel you
rock,
had an hour and a half ago.
5 rock, no tick rule, and like you said, they never thought they had a chance an hour ago.
Right.
And here they are, you're back in it, fighting hard. And the thing about no quit, Glen, is the other team knows that you're not going to give up.
Right on.
So you're planting the seed that you're a hard team to play against, and it's always important. No quit. And we have a final on ice 5. Not sure what happened in the 8th end, but it looks like handshakes all around. We'll update those scores now as they become available to us. Just a straight peel. Okay, on ice 4, Team Lambswood picked up 2 more in 7. Final score 8-2. And the Simmons-Walters game is over. It was 6-2 after 7, but I'm not sure how many. What happened in the 8th end. I'm assuming Simmons probably got another 1 or 2 points, and they're shaking. I'll update that score as it becomes available. And the Team Young Tipple game is 7-1 after 7. Final score for Team Nathan Young over Spencer Tipple. So the only game remaining is our feature game, Team Skanes versus Team Smith. And currently score 7-3 for Team Smith. But
Skanes got something going.
Team Skanes has something going here. So what's the call here, Glenn?
I really don't know, Mark. I didn't see any indication. They talked about a number of things.
Well, it's only Skanes' first rock, so I don't think he got to move that blue rock yet. I think they're just putting back the guard.
Yep. And why not?
Yeah, they had to guard that outside one. I think Smith, if they play this on that rock in the 8-foot now, they can get rid of 2 yellows.
Like the old-fashioned Skins game, Mark, with the rock at the top of the button and surrounded.
Pretty much.
Chris Ford has made a bunch of these things. He's playing in the rings, I think.
Playing a bit of heat
Trying to
here,
make
too.
2 yellows. Trying to make 2 yellows.
That's a good shot.
He has made a pile of shots.
He hasn't missed very much. Well, he's one of the reasons that they're up 4. No, I think Smith now. I think Skanes. I think they might have to come into the rings now. If they play a guard on it, they might not get an opportunity to get it out.
I don't think Greg would hit the guards if they throw another one.
Well, so I think he's got to come in, play a
maybe
little
cross this
gentle tap back here now.
Like to cross it a little
He
bit.
would, but he's going to have to do a bit of curling for that to happen.
Just trying to shake it up a little bit. Not a lot of speed.
Okay, that's not bad.
Did that rub the guard?
Never rubbed the guard. He just
No,
rubbed
just
the,
didn't curl,
one
okay.
in the 8 foot. Needed to curl more. He got by the guard by like a foot. So I think the line was a little wide. But there's a couple of
It's interesting though, Mark, because he buried the other yellow one.
yeah. But I think you can get around on the in-turn to hit that yellow with quiet weight and move the blue
Yeah.
out of the 4 foot because there's a fair bit of curl there at the end. I think Smith is playing the hit here.
I think he is
Well, I don't disagree with that because that's an in-off
for us, right? For Skanes.
for Team Skanes. So you can take it away.
You could hit and roll in to
Greg
freeze your own.
Yeah. Well, I think Greg wants to make sure he guards against a 3-ender.
Right.
So if he gives up 2, it's not the end of the world. That's his tolerance on this end. And if he gives up 2, he's still up 2 with the hammer playing 9. If he can only give up 1, obviously he'd be up 3 still. But
Oh, he's throwing a rocket here.
they were just going to peel it out. I think that was the plan all along.
Yeah, I think so. And it might have been what was it? Discretion is the.
No, that's probably a good call. Because Blanford, he's got to take a chance of coming around now and pushing that blue
On the
rock
in-turn
out.
side, yeah.
Yeah, he's
He's trying to force Greg to draw the 4 foot for his one. Good to see, though, Mark, they've made a game of this. It didn't look like it an hour and a half ago.
I did not. But he needs Matt Blanford needs a big rock here. He gave that a little push wide
Yeah, he
on
straightened it.
release.
Yep.
He's got a.
Here it comes, though.
Here it comes.
Why? Does he have the speed? Does he have the speed?
Right idea.
No.
But
Didn't hit it
again,
enough.
now they still got access on both turns
On
to
both
it.
turns, yeah.
Because they can see more of the yellow rock now, the one he just threw, than they could before he shot. So they can still play a double bump, and he got access on the out turn. So Greg's got to be careful now because he can't do nothing with those 2 yellows. So right now, 3 is in play,
It is.
which is
Just like you say, he's got a shot on both turns.
he got a shot at both turns. So Greg's got to be careful here. Because if Greg caps off one side and Blanford makes it on the other side, it's a 3-ender. So Greg's got to try to get in there.
Yeah, you
somewhere.
hate guarding
And
the
if
other
he
guy's
comes
rock.
in, he might set up a double for him.
You come around on the in-turn side, get half under the yellows. Well, the double will still be there.
Well, if it goes back to if Greg doesn't make his peel on his first rock, and he played the in-off, even if he killed the shot rock and stayed wide open,
Wouldn't be in this.
he wouldn't be in this situation. Because then Blanford would probably have to hit that to lie 2. Greg hits, most you're giving up is 2, but now 3 is in play.
Point.
So here we are now, Greg Smith / Rock. And they've elected, I think, to come down on their own. It's got to be pretty precise, or he might leave a double for Matt Blanford for a 3 spot. So here we go. A little bit on-off so far. Looks like it's pretty close. Looks like it might have to curl a bit. Okay, he's left the double. No doubt that Blanford will be playing. He's going to play the double, or does he have the tap back? He's elected to play the double, but I think they're going to. I think they're going to look at that in turn. He has 2 shots here, 2 different shots he could pick for a 3 spot. That double is just off nose, but he also has it on the in turn. He's elected to play the double.
Well, he's got a chance.
He got
That's
a
all
chance.
he can ask for.
Well, all you could do. If he makes it, they're absolutely back in the game. And so
Not taking any ice, so I'm going to throw it very hard.
I don't like throwing it too hard. I think
don't
just
either.
normal weight here because you got to keep the shooter. You can't afford to roll out. You need the 3 points. He'll be happy with 2, but 3 with a chance for 3.
Throwing it pretty hard. If he's off the nose, he rolls out.
No. Little inside. So I think
Greg dodged the bullet there.
realistically, that's 8-3. That's probably going to be the game. I don't know if they're going to shake or not, but
Well, they got to play again today. So
yeah. Greg gave him the chance for 3, and they just couldn't pull the string on it, and that's how. But that's how this game's gone for those guys. Just a
Wrong side of the inch,
little
as
on the
Wayne
wrong
Vidal used to
side of the
say.
inch, and they might play one more. See what happens. Well, there's only 2 ends left. They're down 5, so realistically, they need to get 300 and steal 3. No, they're gonna
keep going.
keep going.
Well, Greg threw his first one through, so there's a message in that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're throwing too many draws from here on in, I don't imagine.
Yeah, I don't know if you're going to see Greg Smith's team throw a draw this game, or this end,
No.
or the next end. So it's probably going to be a tough slog here for Team Skanes to get in, or to get much going at all.
It's too bad for them in the last end. They really had something going. They played very well and just couldn't execute that last shot.
They did have something going. Now that said, my own personal feeling, I thought it was a lot of weight for that shot.
Well,
because you had to
score 3.
You had to make sure you held the shooter.
I think with that weight, Mark, if he makes the double, his shooter rolls out.
Maybe so. So I don't agree with that. Now I also think he just played that intern on his first rock. I think they knew the line, knew the weight. You just need a couple of pounds more weight, and
yeah, it's interesting.
That was a very makeable shot too. And you're playing pretty much the same line you played the first time. So
it's interesting. People think, a lot of people think trying to make a double, you got to throw it harder than if you're just trying to make a single. Truth of the matter is, it's not how hard you hit it; it's where you hit it.
You got to hit it in the right spot. But I think with that double, to make sure you held your shooter, I think a 9-5 is as much as you want.
As much as you want to throw it.
As much as you wanted to throw it. You still had to roll them out 4 feet, 5 feet.
And a nice control weight, you could have.
If you hit it right,
you make it
it's
too.
makeable with control weight. And your shooter stays in the rings and you get your 3 points. Right. And then it's a 1-point game with 2 ends to go. Then you can give them 1 and 9.
Right.
You're only down 2 with the hammer. You can get 2 in 10.
And they can feel the squeeze coming.
Then it's 1 end. You only got to steal 1 point, 1 end.
Well, you've got 2 corner guards, but I don't know if they're corner guards.
They're pretty high, but you can, whether they're side by side or side by each, however you want to say it, you can get around.
It's a little heavier than he wanted to. I think it's just riding the line there. That's okay.
Skanes playing a draw here around the corner.
Yeah, trying to generate something.
And you're going to see, I would think you're going to see Smith go up and do something with those guards, I would think. Now, if you can see that rock in the rings, you might come down and try to hit that.
I don't think he can see it. Oh, he says he can. Well, with the guards being so high, I guess.
Yeah.
But no,
I think
those two guards are.
The guards are more dangerous than what's in the rings.
Yeah, they got hit me signs written all over them.
Half rock, you could, even if you leave one of the guards,
Half rock.
you'll be in the middle of the sheet as opposed to covering something on the wing. So at least you're forcing them to play it back to the middle. But I think you'll see a bit of heat coming here.
I would think. That one going too. Oh, that's one way of making it.
That's one way of making it. Yeah, absolutely. Well done. I don't know if that was the plan.
I don't think.
But the main thing was it got rid of one of them.
I think Greg was yelling out yes when rock was still in Zach's hand.
Yeah.
But he made it, so that's what matters.
Yeah.
And they're all laughing about it now.
No, I know.
Well, I guess you guard your shot, rock.
Well, now there's no guards effectively in play.
Good one.
Yeah, none of the games this morning, Glen, were, once we got into the second half of the game, none of the games were really tight.
Somebody blew it open.
Every team may end up with a steal or a big end.
There's been some big steals, three steals. One in our game, one in the game with Dylan Hancock and Lambswood. 2 steal by Young. This is death by 1,000 cuts now for Blanford.
Well, they really don't have much going here either.
No.
And nothing in front. So you're trying to get multiple points. You really got to need guards out front, but they got the double peel, and it just hasn't worked the way it's been going for them.
I guess the worst case scenario from this perspective is, I'll have an open hit and a give 'em 2. So what?
So what? You're still up 3 with the hammer.
With the hammer.
So worst case saying if everything fell apart, so they're lying 3, you probably got an open, probably not likely might have an open hit. You don't have a stage, you've got to kill one.
Right.
Right? So it's a pretty tall order right now for Team Skanes.
You call it, what is it? What was the call there, Mark? Do you know?
I'm not sure. They might have just had an audible and put the broom down, and I saw no indication. Yeah. Just hit the open one.
There's a possible double here. That would be a dagger, wouldn't it?
Well, I think you're going to play the double and the yellows. You got to hit your own blue on the center line side.
That could be.
But I think that's got too much danger. Just hit this open. Even if you roll out, it doesn't matter. Just hit it.
Not taking any ice, so
Well, I say he's playing the out turn, isn't he?
he's playing the in-turn.
Oh, well, I don't know if I like
Heel.
that.
Trying to roll under the blue or towards the other yellow.
Oh, he looks like he's okay here.
He's going to roll towards it a little bit.
Again, another Chris Ford shot made perfectly.
I don't think he's missed a shot, has he?
I don't know. He's played awful well. He's made a bunch of rolls
Yeah.
with full weight and board weight and hack weight and just, he's had draw weight. But like you said, they've been pretty solid today. Couple of minor miscues in the last end, and Zach Surloff has been outstanding.
He has.
So the ends have started out the right way.
Had one heck of a problem with that in-turn. I don't know if it's his rock or if he's coming over the top of it, or I don't know what's going on there, but it's been consistent.
It's been inconsistent all game. And like I said, I don't know if it's the rock or just on that intern release.
Yeah, there's
Because
something going on.
when it has happened, it's been the intern.
It has been the intern.
So it might be a little twist on his release or whatever. I think if it had been the rock, they would have already changed it.
I think so.
You got to think that these guys got enough experience for that. Because when we used to play on tour a lot, if there was any sign that you thought it was the rock, it got switched right away, even if it wasn't, because then it's in your head that it might be.
Right. Absolutely.
So another good rock there by Greg Smith, and again, it doesn't look good for
No.
Team Skanes to get a 3-ender here. At most, they're only going to score 2, which means he's going to have to make a perfect hit and roll. And then if Smith draws into lie 2, he's got to make a double, possibly, to get 2. So it's going to be a tall order.
Tall order.
I think, Glenn, if Skanes can only muster 1 point here, I think it could be handshakes.
I think you're right.
I
They
think
do have to play again today at 3 or 3:30, so
if they get 2, they may
regroup.
keep it going.
This one's over curling as well. Not going to get the roll he was looking for, but
No, I don't think you want to take a crack at that. No, well, what's the point?
draw
You're
the
going
other
to jam
side.
it. Why not just
Draw the other side to
play a
4.
guard on it?
Guard it, yeah.
Now, if you pick it out, fine, but the only way he's getting 2, in my estimation,
If you make it for him.
if you make it for him. Oh, again, I say he's coming with a bit of heat here, and he could easily make it, but the only chance they got to get in 2 is if he nuts it.
Make it for him, yeah.
Yeah. And I hate making rocks for other people. Just as nasty.
But he feels good about it, so. Oh, he looks pretty good. That's good.
Yeah.
Hit a lot of rocks today.
Yeah. Yeah, they played quite well.
They have played very well.
Yeah. They're going to be deserving winners of this game. Puts Skanes back in a little bit of a hole at 1 and 2.
Yeah, this
Game's not over yet, I know, but it
league.
certainly looks like it might be. And so Team Skanes are going to have a little powwow with their coach now, and they got to come out big
Absolutely.
this afternoon.
They're on their face.
Well, they got to right the ship. Now there's 2 losses in a row, so they got to get it going.
Yeah, he gets his one.
So One for
That's
Team
the game.
Blanford and handshakes. So here we are, folks. Final score, 8-4, Team Smith over Team Skanes. And that's going to be a wrap. I'd like to thank Glen Goss and our tech support, Kevin Foley, this morning for helping us out. And we'll be back at 3:30 this afternoon. And we'll hope to see everybody then. Thanks, everybody.